Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Don't mind subscribe. Well, it's been pretty uneventful the past few days, which is a good thing. I have no issues with that. So yesterday we decided to take our van down to our local mechanic and have it serviced and do a few odd things for it. So that's what we did. Now, I actually went longer on my oil change this time. Of course, I'm running synthetic oil. I don't feel uncomfortable doing that, but it's unusual for me. I'm about 1,000 kilometers more than what I normally do, but that's okay. Upon checking the oil before they drained it, I noticed that it hadn't used any. I hadn't had to add, wasn't down to where I needed to add or anything like that. But it had dropped maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe, if that much. It was just very negligible. So I'm very pleased with that. Because since I've owned the van, I've not had to add between oil changes, which is a good thing. I do keep a regular check on it. Same with the transmission. I always check it too. But anyway, upon the rest of the work, I replaced the stabilizer links. I had to order a new set for it. So the front end is nice and quiet again. For how long, who knows? As bad as these roads are. By the way, speaking of roads, they've actually worked our little road. Even though it's still a dirt road, it's not so bad now. It's not as rough. Maybe next time I'm out, I'll try to do a video on it. Give you an idea what I'm talking about. But the road is bad when it's bad. And it gives those stabilizer links a workout. And they don't last long, about 6-8 months, something like that. I think this last set lasted about a little over a year, so that's excellent. So we see what this new set does. Upon that, since I was going to rotate the tires, we've done a brake inspection. Well, I hadn't been noticing when I applied the brakes, especially like when we come downhill, and I had to use the brakes for long enough to start heating them up some. They was making a little noise. If you're not living here or not familiar with these little vehicles, there ain't much of a brake system on them anyway. I mean, the brake system is small. The brake pads are roughly, maybe they might be 4 inches long. No, they ain't that long, 3 inches. And the width is probably about an inch. They're a very small pad. And these were worn about 70% maybe. I put them on last year. I'm still surprised that they have been worn that much, because I've been trying to buy a decent set of pads, and so I ordered some new ones. They're from Taiwan this time. I forgot where these were from, the ones I've got on it now. Hopefully the quality is a little better. The noise was actually coming from the rotors. The pad had uneven wear, and from the inside diameter of the rotor up to about right at an inch, the pads were actually going to make contact about an inch and a quarter, inch and a half, something like that. Anyway, that last quarter of an inch hadn't worn as much as the rest of the pad, or vice versa. And it was hitting the rusty part of the rotor, and that's what was making the noise. It wasn't no danger. It just unusual wire pattern. Don't know how to explain that. It's just odd. I've not run across that with my experience in mechanics that I'm aware of, that I can recall. Anyway, I'm going to put new ones on it. And yeah, I know somebody's going to say, why don't you have the rotors turned? I would if there was a place to do that here local. Yeah, I had to have a shot of coffee. Now I'm going to replace the rear shoes, not because they're worn out, but when I first got the van, I replaced them. In the process of putting the one on the driver's side on, the guy actually broke a new shoe, one of the shoes. So we had to put it back on, one of the used shoes back on it. I've been driving it that way since, so I decided this time that we'd just go ahead and pull them off and replace them again. Hopefully not break one this time. Different mechanic this time, so I should be okay. But, I've been using, like I said before, fully synthetic oil, so, and I like to keep the oil change pretty regular because it is a turbo unit. Those who are not familiar with turbos, the shaft of the turbo actually floats in oil. That's why it's important to keep it clean. You know, a regular vehicle without turbo, I probably would went quite a bit more between oil changes. But that's a different animals, I would call it. But those turbos are very sensitive, and you want to take care of them. But overall, I also rotated the tires too. It was that time. This is the third oil change. I always do it on the third one. Rotate tires. Now, the reason I rotate tires, there's two reasons, really. One, you get longer life out of your tires. Second, on an all-wheel drive vehicle, it is important to keep the tire height pretty equal. And so it's important to keep the tires rotated on an all-wheel drive so that the tires don't rotate differently from front to back. Because if the height changes, because the front tires will wear more because they're steering tires and they will wear quicker. And if the height changes, it does put stress on the four-wheel drive components. And we don't want that. Also, on an all-wheel drive, it's not recommended just to replace two tires because you are changing the height between the used tire and the new tires. So, for you guys out there that's not familiar, they're not mechanically inclined, tires are very important on an all-wheel drive to stay pretty equal in order to extend the life of your drivetrain components. I don't know if you're familiar with torque steer and all that, but if you actually get a similar reaction between front to back when you are running all-wheel drive. Because on this particular model, there's no way of switching it out of four-wheel drive. It's all the time, all-wheel drive. They are in the DA series, in what they call a DA64W, which is a more upscale model. There's a few of those that have the selection of four-wheel drive. Wish mine had it. But anyway, that's the story of what was going on yesterday. We did run to the market. Bought a sack of corn grits. That's a common filler food that we use here. I enjoy it myself from time to time. But the gracious parents, they enjoy those, so we keep them on hand. Trying to think if there's anything else oh yeah, I took Grace out for a little afternoon break to Seaside. Of course, she had to do her photo ops, which is okay. She enjoys that. And we had a nice little meal there, and we took a break. And we came home. And the final thing I like to tell you, our eggs, this is the 7th day, yeah. They're still in the incubator, and they seem to be doing okay. Probably in the next 5 to 6 days, I will do a candling just to see if there's any of them active. Hopefully we see some activity. I'll let you know at that time. So folks, don't mind. Subscribe.